But real quick, additionally, we should point out that verified canceled funding and Doge claimed funding, neither are falsifiable. The Doge tracker is saying, here's what we looked at what Elon said. We know this was canceled. That doesn't mean Elon is wrong, lying, or the numbers are not correct.
In this video, Tim Pool recently had a lefty on his show for a good old-fashioned debate. Tim Pool and this guy debate Doge and how it's helping or hurting Americans. With that, let's watch Tim Pool easily eviscerate a leftist's dumb arguments.
Right? They're like, oh, we got to tax the billionaires. These are the ones we got. This is terrible. But when Doge makes these kind of cuts that actually save taxpayers hundreds of dollars every year, now we sit here and scream, "Ree!"
Okay, but it doesn't actually do it. So
what do you mean it doesn't?
So I'm going to ignore you. You don't know what you're saying.
What do you mean?
Right?
If you're canceled funding, that's taxpayer dollars being saved. Is that correct? Yes or no?
I'm sorry. Repeat that, please.
So if this is your website's correct, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These are the cuts you admit they've done.
Yeah.
All right. That means that's money that's been saved by the taxpayer that's being spent can be spent more efficiently. Correct?
Hold on. That it depends, right? Like, were those things that should have been canceled? Right? We haven't actually established that. We're just assuming that Doge knows what should and shouldn't be canceled. Now, there could be things that you and I agree with, right? I'm sure we can find common ground on contracts.
But you agree, even if they don't, they're not something that should be canceled. It would still, in theory, save us money. Correct?
And
I don't care about just saving us money, right? I'm not a conservative. It doesn't matter to me that we simply save money. I want to use that money for like important purposes to actually run the government. Sorry.
I just want to make sure this is clear. It's not necessarily a correction, but when we highlighted USAID cuts showing 244 million, that's actually just one component. That's
one component.
Yeah, that's an O&M. Right. So I just want to make sure everyone understands. Yeah. There's actually a bigger list of all the different USAID cuts. Here's another for 70 million. Here's another for 12 million. And I'm sorry, it's what overstated savings. Oh, okay. So they're saying terminated funding is 351 million. Not wait, what? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me clarify. Mm-hmm. Doge is claiming 595 million. They can verify 351 million was terminated. The overestimate was 244. So I read that wrong. Yeah. So the first number on this Musk tracker says, for USAID, O&M follow-on contract was 350 million saved. Just for example, there are a bunch of other USAID contract cuts. This one, for instance, was 12 million. Another was 70, and another was 9.8.
This is pulling from government databases, right? So there's the Doge website, the wall of receipts, right? And on that website, for each of these canceled contracts, it sends you to what's called the Federal Procurement Data System, right? FPDS. If you click on one of those, right, you'll have no idea what you're looking at. It's not something designed for like regular individuals. Like click on the savings part or something. I don't know.
Which one?
Well, why does it matter if it's not designed for regular individuals?
No, it actually does matter. No, because the point is, people are saying that this has been the epitome of transparency. But actually, if like regular individuals can just look at this and think, I guess this is savings, I guess this works out, right? But they actually can't tell.
Have you met the average person though? They can't tell. They can't tie their shoes. I mean,
but the fact that we even have a website where we can monitor what Doge is cutting is an amazing thing. And this guy trying to minimize how transparent the Trump administration has been is just crazy. Think about how often you see Donald Trump talking, how many questions he answers, the ability to see exactly what Doge is doing, so there's no funny business for the American people. This guy's point, talking about canceled contracts or savings, he says they go to certain receipts or contracts. He's like, these aren't made for the average person to read. Dude, they're still posting them. And you're right. They weren't originally made for the public's eyes. They were probably made specific to that industry and how they do things in that business. So someone who's in that business, that industry, that agency, whatever, probably very easily understands these things. But I don't know if he's suggesting that the Trump administration is being intentionally misleading by posting these, which would be a stupid argument for the reasons I just said, or if he's suggesting that they should spend a bunch of time and money converting these documents into things that the American public can clearly understand. That's a waste of time. As I've said before, until Elon Musk does something that hurts the American people, I'm going to support any cuts they make because we can always build back up. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
But real quick, additionally, we should point out that verified canceled funding and Doge claimed funding, neither are falsifiable. The Doge tracker is saying, here's what we looked at what Elon said. We know this was canceled. That doesn't mean Elon is wrong, lying, or the numbers are not correct.
Okay.
Amen.
Well, you'll see what I'm saying. So click on that, the USAID contract you were looking at before, right? Click on the bar
first
itself.
one?
Yeah, yeah. And click it, click the link. So you see the FBDS, right? There's that. That's what you'll find on Doge, right? You'll take a look at this. This is like fucking inscrutable. But also, there's the USA spending website. So if you look at that, right? If you go back to the other one, right? So
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead, take a look.
So this is what the Doge tracker actually linked.
Yeah.
It says that the Doge estimated savings is 595 million, but that's actually only 351 million, and it's claiming 244 is overstated. But when you actually click the link they provide, it says the base and all options value is 596 million.
And exactly, yeah. So if we go to the the USA spending, the other link there, all right?
Click for links. I did.
I mean, just while y'all are
And
doing
then-
this,
yeah, there you
like,
go.
Do you
So
agree
this
that
is a much more,
351 million is a
readable-
lot of money?
no. This is important.
Yeah, this is a much more readable version. So exactly what you're talking about before. There's the other options, right? Those options aren't exercise options. So there's
That says potential award
Yeah,
map.
that's what's actually been, because you have to actually learn to read this. I spent the time to actually learn to read this thing, right? So the current award amount, that's the amount that's already been
Verified.
spent. Yeah, right. Yeah, the 556, that's options.
What they were going to get.
If they exercise those options,
And they were gonna.
were they? Do you know that? So you can have an extension. So you can
You know
sign a
that, no?
contract.
So wait, hold
One second,
on,
one second.
come on.
You can sign. Hold on. You can sign a contract, right? And then you can say, "Hey, I'm going to extend that contract. I have the options, right, to extend that option multiple times, and I'll get additional money for that." But if you don't extend those
Why wouldn't
options,
they?
right, because they might not need the money.
Are you joking? I got to be honest. I kind of feel like you tried pulling a fast one.
I didn't try pulling a fast one. Hold on. I'm
The-
literally walking you through the website. I'm not pulling.
They
a
have an
fast one.
option to pull out. I do understand what you're saying, but the idea that an organization that has offered up an additional $250 million would be like, you know what? We decided we don't want it. We're not going to take it.
Never happened in
Fine.
history.
Yeah, it never happened. In
That
you-
absolutely happens all the time.
what?
Awards,
You do know that they sell $500 hammers to the Pentagon. This was a big scandal.
Yeah,
Yeah, $30,000
I am.
believe
Hold on, I am perfectly aware of that. I'm aware the Pentagon doesn't pass audits, right? I'm aware
Marines
that
do.
we.
So the Marines,
Marines
do?
Yeah, the
Dude.
Marines passed an
I don't
audit.
know.
We like
That's
the Marines.
crazy.
Yeah, I am aware that the Pentagon gets overcharged all the time, right? And other agencies actually get examined and
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
run in a different manner, right? Like the Social Security Administration doesn't have the same amount of waste and bloat as the Pentagon. We can understand these things are treated
Social
differently.
Security is bloat, but go ahead.
It's not all bloat. I mean, obviously, like this is important. This is a useful.
Hold on, you realize I can't let this one go. Just you know what the Social Security. If I invested my tax dollars that I spent that would go towards Social Security, the same amount exactly in the S&P like fund or a mutual fund, my return would be drastically higher. You understand that, right? Than like what you're getting. So basically, Social Security is boning the average American out of their money. Because you're like.
People don't save that way. We have to actually design a system for people. People, I wish people.
Wait, why is that our problem? Like,
why is that a problem? Because I care about a fellow man and woman. That's why.
So
it's
do
our
I.
problem.
But
that's what I'm doing.
This is the difference between, I guess, you and me on this, right? We voted for Doge to come in and clear this stuff out, right? We see these things as wasteful. We see these times. Like, I can't tell you how many times I know people that are working 3 jobs that are going, why am I getting taxed so much? And it's going to pay people that are just, living off the teat of society. And Doge is part of the answer to that. They're going in and clearing stuff out. And even by your numbers, right? Let's just take your numbers at the 351 million mark. That's a ton of money.
Well, hold on. This is interesting.
That guy made a great point, and it's such a simple point, but we all can get lost in the minutia of Doge and is it beneficial? Is it not? Did they cut $100 million or is it really $50 million? Bottom line is, like he said, people are paying an exorbitant amount in taxes, and anyone who is not shocked at the things they have uncovered as to where our taxpayer money is going, you must not be a human being, because this is bananas, man. Like, I'm not really sure what this guy that came into debate has committed his life to. I mean, it looks like he's studying this Doge stuff meticulously. That's cool, but what are you trying to prove, man? Are you trying to point out where Elon Musk might have gotten some numbers wrong? And him talking about people turning away money on an option from the government, he is delusional if he thinks folks turn down free money from the federal government. I mean, what reality is he living in? And it looks like this Doge tracker, I don't really know what the point of it is, because all they're pointing out is, okay, here's what we confirmed that they cut versus what they said they've cut. But they're just saying what's verifiable. Unverifiable doesn't mean it's a lie. And I'm just throwing out a number, but let's say they, again, this is a random number, but let's say they say at the end of all this, Doge saved the American people $1 million. Again, just throwing out not a realistic number, but okay, we saved the American people $1 million, and it ends up being 500,000. I'd be disappointed they got the math wrong, but I'd still be happy. It's more by light years than any other administration has done to try to cut spending. Both Republicans and Democrats, they talk about it all the time, but they don't do it. So I don't know what this guy's mission is, other than he doesn't like Elon Musk and wants to try to get a gotcha on him, but I don't know what there is to quote unquote get him on, other than him doing something self-serving at the expense of the American people. So if that's his goal, cool. But I mean, all he's talking about right now is like, oh, this isn't as much as he said it was. It's like, all right, here's my question. Is it more than any other administration's done in the last 25 to 30 years? Yes. Okay, then keep going, Doge. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
I'm trying to figure out what these phrases actually mean.
There's a glossary that you can check out, right?
So, okay, we'll do that. But just let me ask your perspective on this. Current award amount, that means they did give 352 to this organization. Wouldn't that then mean that there is still yet to be paid 250 million?
Not only if he exercise those.
We don't know the terms of the contract, so
Yeah,
you can't make that assumption.
Yeah, and
if
they
it
can't
says,
make the assumption either.
If they said that, if they say currently we have given 350 million to them, the argument would be we didn't actually save 350 million. It's inverted. The Musk tracker has it backwards. Elon Musk saved us $250 million because they've already given 350 million to this organization.
But I'm saying those options haven't been exercised.
That's the savings. So here's the issue. Right. So let's put it this way: if an organization, let's just round these numbers up so we can get simple. We'll make it simple. USAID, screw it. Let's just say government organization gives $600 million contract to be paid out. Elon Musk says terminate that contract.
Okay, I think what they're talking about here is money that's been allocated versus money that's been dispersed. So this option that they're talking about, or whatever, says to me they were awarded this contract, and that money, as part of that quote unquote option, has been allocated. So as far as the books are concerned, it's spent. You honestly think money that's allocated to a government agency, what percentage of the time do you think they say, you know what, we don't need that extra 250 million. Give me a break, dude. I guess I'll wrap up with this. Everything's subjective. You will never get a consensus where everyone agrees that what should or shouldn't be cut. But I'd rather the government cut as much as they possibly deem necessary. Then, if they cut too much in certain areas, they can hire people back for essential jobs or restart the hiring process. This is just my belief. I just think we need as clean a slate as we can get to. We'll never get to a completely clean slate, but as clean a slate as we can get to give us a better idea of how much of our tax money that's being spent is essential and how much of our tax money being spent is wasted. Then when they've pared it down that much, then you can build back up and say, okay, you know what, we really, with the cuts we made in this agency, we really need to hire a person or department for this. Okay, so we'll allocate some money to that. Okay, we've got all this money we saved. We're going to put X number of dollars towards the deficit. You know, if they were to do Doge checks or something, okay, this much will go to that. But I say cut, because I'd rather it be lean and we have to hire than bloated and we just slowly keep hiring and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I also don't like the argument, well, they cut this, but that's like $20 million. I mean, that's nothing in the budget. It's still $20 million of taxpayers' money. Let's say you're wealthy and really comfortable, and $100 doesn't mean a ton to you. But every other day, $100 just disappears from your wallet. Could you probably afford for those $100 to go missing? Yeah, but I think most people would wonder, where the hell is this money going? Isn't that fair for the taxpayers to ask? But we want to hear from you. Do you think this guy changed anything about your perception about Doge? I mean, are there any points you see him making other than the numbers might be off in some areas, or we can't verify some things? To be completely fair, I haven't seen this whole debate, and it's long, so I'm sure we get more context, but at least in this clip, I don't think he exposed or uncovered anything. But let us know what you think in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.